Hey guys, what's up for OddsChecker? I am your host back with another episode of The Morning Edge with two of the sharpest bettors on the internet, Matt and Ben. Guys, happy Wednesday. We're almost to the weekend. How you feeling?
Feeling good. Yeah, almost Friday. Little midweek today. So gotta get through it today, Melissa. Then it's Thursday, then it's Friday, so we're almost there. We're
We
close.
are.
We're closer than we were yesterday. That's all I know.
What about you, Ben? How you feeling today?
I'm coming off like a horrible day. I had Indiana. Yeah, Dad, you can laugh at me. I know you're on Michigan State. I know Krabs was too. It was tough. But we'll rebound. Coming in today, feeling good about these bets. So let's get into it.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, Ben, last week on the Thunderdome, Matt didn't do too hot either.
That's not very nice at all. And it wasn't my fault. Just to defend myself, your stupid Rangers came back. The Oilers were winning.
I'm shocked.
4-1. I didn't even look at the game. I was, hanging out. It's Friday night. I come back, check the phone, and they lost in overtime. So I don't even blame myself for that. And then Kevin Herter he admitted to this, by the way, he bet his own under in the 3-point contest. So
that's just rude.
I think that's what happened.
Guys, I won my first Thunderdome challenge, even though I went 3-0 on my first one. So good things are coming my way. I just want to shout out the Gala because he killed it on the 3-ball. And that sent me over the edge. I beat Krabs. Krabs, if you're watching this, you and Matt are in the same boat. I'm not going to call you guys losers because you guys usually have a higher ratio than me.
Yeah, listen, this is not how you're supposed to win. You're not supposed to make fun of your opponent. This is
not supposed to be a score winner.
Yes, 100%. We will remember this. Trust me. Next time I win, it's gonna be a long episode for you.
All right, guys, let's get it. Yeah, I might call in sick that day, but let's get into how Tuesday did last night. Matt, what happened in the Virginia Tech game?
Well, they lost, as we could see, because it's red. So the other team scored more points than Virginia Tech. Unfortunately, yeah, they had a nice lead early on. They were up like 8. Looked like they might control the pace of the game. Miami, I'm done fading them. I haven't faded them too often this year. Me and Krabs been talking about this. He had a little bit of an issue fading them early in the year. He put a future on them to kind of make up for it, I think. But we both faded them again last night. Offensively, they're just too much. They have way too much firepower. They're never out of the game. They kind of play like an NBA-style offense. So if they're down 10 points, like they can make that up in 2 minutes. Great three-point shooting, great offensive rebounding. They're just way better than Virginia Tech. So been a disappointing year for the Hokies. Disappointing game last night. Nothing new. But yeah, tough game in Miami. But the good thing is we never lose back-to-back show picks. So we're due today.
We are due today. And then, Ben, I'll let you cover Krabs' bet, which actually hit. He had Michigan State on the money line. What happened with you? You had Indiana.
Yeah, I'm getting teased here a little bit.
What's kind of coming at us? I don't know.
Just seriously, a good show. Like, what do you need to do?
Catching strays out here. Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna say about it? Indiana didn't look too good. Honestly, coming into this season, I thought that I was maybe gonna place a future on them. I am definitely not anymore, especially after tonight. Not just because I'm like upset that they lost last night, but just in general how they've been playing on the road. It seems like sometimes they just look lost on offense. Like I don't know what it is. Sometimes it just looks like they don't really like know what they're doing. Their defense is usually pretty good, but I mean the offense just like they gave up 80 points. They got blown out. They're just not playing good on the road. Sometimes they look lost. I don't like how they're looking. So especially coming into this is when they're supposed to look the best. If they're gonna be like a team that's gonna make it far in March, and I just feel like they haven't really been doing it. So yeah, we'll see.
Well, the good part about losing is that you can just win your money back today. So, guys, they have released a new weekly rankings of the top 25. Let's take a look, and you tell me how you're feeling.
Top 25 time. All right. This is wrong because I came out with my top 25 a couple of days ago. Number 1, so mine's UCLA 1, Kansas 2, Baylor's 3. Look at them. They got Baylor at 9. I know Baylor lost last night, but they're still top 3 in my eyes. Houston, I had 4, and then I had Bama 5. Although what just came out of Alabama, crazy story. Did you guys see that? So Miller, like they could be in trouble as a team. If you guys have not seen that story, read up on it. Kind of a wild story. That might jeopardize their season. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But, yeah, I mean, I get it. Houston's obviously a great team. And Houston's not a team that, like, I can call a fraud because they've they win in March, right? Like, but they don't play anyone during the season, so I won't put them one. I think Kansas has looked like the best team lately. Kansas or UCLA, in my opinion. UCLA defensively, excuse me, a little sick here. UCLA defensively is very very tough to beat. A lot of experience. Mick Cronin, great coach. So I like it. I like it. Looking at the back end of this, a couple teams. Northwestern finally in the top 25. It's about time. They kept getting left out. Didn't really understand that. Get Iowa State out of the top 25. I hate Iowa State. I don't know about you guys, but they're just like, I don't know why I hate them. I just, for some reason, I do. It's like every time I bet against them, they win. If I bet on them, they lose. So I'm happy to see them moving down. Looking at some other teams. Yeah, someone said, I think you got to put Miami top 10, right? After what they've been able to do. I feel like they're getting
crazy.
They're getting disrespected, I think. I don't know. I feel like they're not being too fair to them. What's your guys' thoughts on it? Top 25?
For me, I think I understand why Houston is one. Bama 2 with that story you brought up. I think they might drop. Who knows how they're gonna really look? I mean, I actually saw a few conflicting things, like he might still be playing, and then I saw another one saying for sure he's not playing. It's kind of a confusing story right now, but I mean, obviously not too sure about them at 2 right now going into the future. I like Kansas. I mean, Kansas to me is the most balanced team. Obviously, the defending champs. I mean, they have the most quad 1 games in the nation. They have the first overall ranked strength of schedule, and they're 14-5 in their quad 1 games, and they're 4-0 in their quad 2 games. So I mean, they're just they're dominating. I mean, they're coming off a road win against TCU. Mike Miles was back. No one thought. A lot of people maybe thought Kansas would win. But, I mean, the storyline said that TCU should probably win. They're at home. Mike Miles was back, all that stuff. And then Kansas still beat them. So, I mean, they're looking really good right now. I like them as probably one. I'll probably place a future on them, even though the odds aren't the greatest. I like Texas A&M sneaking in here at 25.
I like that too.
Yeah, Texas A&M sneaking in. I think they deserve it. I mean, that win over Tennessee was pretty massive. They are playing so physical. They are getting to the line. They are forcing turnovers. They have one of the highest free throw attempt rates in the nation. They play super physical, and that's just how Buzz Williams, that's just the teams he creates. But they're looking really good, and they're playing well right now. So I like them too, going here to the end of the season.
So I do, yeah. They've been good. Someone asked about a future on a non-top 10 team. I think Miami's definitely a team you got to sprinkle. Yeah. I mean, I can just see it now. In March, if they heat up, I don't care who they play, they can beat anyone. So I think Miami's definitely worth the future. We've talked about that. You kind of just alluded to them, Indiana. I wish they had more guard play because as good as Jackson is, and they're really good defensively. Indiana really much better defensively than a lot of people give them credit for. I think Creighton's a team. I know they lost last night. They're a team I think that can heat up come March just because offensively they have so much firepower. So somebody said he's not playing tonight. I would be surprised if Brandon Miller played tonight just because the story kind of came out yesterday. So
blew up the internet.
Yeah, it was huge. I don't know. It's hard. Yeah, I'm not a legal guy, so I don't know how that works or what exactly went down with it, but yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. I think they play South Carolina tonight, and the line I think 17.5 right now. We'll get it later. So I don't know. I mean, if he doesn't play, Alabama's still really a deep team, but he's going to be a lottery pick. He's slated to be a top 5. But that could be huge to keep an eye on as well. Just some other comments. Yeah, Xavier Johnson. That's a good point. He'll be back for Indiana. So he might be able to come back, give them some help in the guard spot. That's a good spot. Yeah, if you don't know the story, just Google it. We can't explain. It's a long story, right, guys? So
it's a long story. I was trying to write an article on it yesterday, and I was like, this is taking a very long time. There's a lot of moving parts there. I think Alabama is going to drop. I mean, you have to consider the human element when you talk about college basketball because we are dealing with kids and everything's in flux. So we'll see what happens next week when we go over this poll.
Yes, we will see. Yeah.
Someone said Xavier lost at home to Nova. They should be out of the top 20. Yeah, that's a bad loss. They are still playing without Zach Freemantle, though, which you have to take into account. He's obviously one of their best players right now. So I don't know. I'll be more interested to see what happens when he comes back. It's kind of like when you lose a guy like that. It is tough, especially at the end of the season. So I'll be interested to see when and if he comes back, how they look. But yeah, it wasn't a good loss last night. But they were up, and they actually had like the game tying or game winning shot. Couldn't get it, but they were up until the very end and blew it. So it was a close loss. But yeah, not a good one to lose at home.
Shout out to Zach Fremantle. One time we DM'd. Cool story.
Oh.
So
Are you gonna share the story? Or?
I'm not letting you guys know why, but one time I did DM Zach after a game, told him good game, and he was cool. So big Zach Fremantle fan. Also, yeah, just kind of getting back to that game. Nova's healthy now, so they're actually way better than like Justin Moore missed the majority of the season. They got Slater back. Like, remember, they were a Final Four team last year, and I know they lost a couple key guys, but I think if Nova was healthy all season, they're probably a tournament team. Like, that line last night was only, 4.5 at home. So, yeah, I don't think that's that bad of a loss. I think with Moore in the lineup, Nova's like a legit team. So I wouldn't look at that. I'm sure the people who do these top 25, I don't think they're going to get too caught up into that. Yeah, big win also last night. Yeah, Marquette. Big East is kind of crazy this year. It's wide open, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of really solid teams in the Big East.
Hey, Matt, you should explain that when Zach was DMing you. It had nothing to do with betting. We don't want to get him in trouble.
Oh, no, God, no. Zach's a great guy. We were just talking. I asked him if he would come on a podcast, and he said yes. So it was actually the opposite. He was very, he just wanted to, talk sports. And he was a nice dude,
So why do you respond to him, but you don't respond to me when I DM you?
Melissa, I can't. Well, a lot of times when you DM me, it's not nice. It's
That's fair.
Anything to try to get me mad. And sometimes I just can't answer because in the heat of the moment, I'm too upset. It'll be like after an Eagles loss or after the Phillies. It's just never. You've never DM'd me something nice. I'll keep it. That's what I'll say.
And on that note, let's get into what the top 25 teams are playing tonight.
Ooh,
all right, guys, we got 4 games. What are we thinking here?
Ben, you want to start? You start. I'm going to tweet it.
I mean, I like Tulane. I know that sounds really scary. Houston, oddly enough, has been playing their worst basketball at home. They're like 2-5 against the spread at home in conference games. And their only 2 losses of the season are at home. I know one was against Alabama. But like strangely enough, they've been playing their worst at home. And Tulane, they're actually on a 5-game win streak. One of those games was an overtime winner at Memphis, which is another top team in the AAC. They're actually like, you might think they might just give up. They're 10-3 in conference. Like, let's not sleep on Tulane right now. Like, I know they're playing number 1 Houston, but they're not looking horrible right now. And yeah, they got blown out by 20 at home against Houston. So I think that's what a lot of people will look at, and they'll be like, yeah, they're just going to get blown out again. But yeah, they've actually looked decent on the road. So I think that's kind of a sneaky spot. They might lose by double digits, but they can keep it at least within that 14.5, maybe lose like 10 or 11. Yeah, I kind of like Tulane here. I don't know about you.
For me, I would stay away from that game. I haven't bet a lot of Houston games. Honestly, someone actually, it was funny, just commented how much money they've won on Houston this year. Because of, their spreads are always like 20 or 15.5. Like, I'm not a huge like lay big number kind of guy. That's not really how I bet. But yeah, I don't know. You kind of mentioned it. I've bet on Tulane a few times. They've been solid this season. You mentioned their conference record, so I think Tulane's a solid team. 14.5 obviously is a ton of points. But I'm not in the business of feeding Houston. If you bet on it though, Ben, I will cheer you on. I do want to look at that Providence UConn game. I'm going to get into this game a little more, when we get to the ladder, which is coming up in probably, 5-10 minutes. The UConn, this is a UConn line, I think, all the way. So Providence is undefeated at home. They haven't lost a home game all year, but on the road, they've been pretty back and forth. I think they're 5-5, so they're a 500 team away from home. And you got to remember that the Big East, the bottom of the Big East is pretty bad. So some easy wins mixed in there. When they've been challenged on the road, they haven't really stepped up. This is a UConn line all the way. The fact that we see them laying a number this big, if you're looking at it like, all right, Providence is laying 6.5, that looks a little too easy. I think that's because it is. I don't think they cover this game. But last night, we saw a line somewhat similar. Creighton at Marquette, I think, or Creighton at home, they were -6. Marquette ended up winning the game out. All right, so maybe we see that again tonight. I hope not, but I do think I do think that it's a Connecticut play here all the way. And UConn, again, we kind of just mentioned it at home this year, only 2 losses. So they've been really solid at home. They went through a little bit of a slide. But remember, coming into 2023, on New Year's Day, they were ranked number 2 in the nation. So this is a team that just had one really bad month. They just had a bad January. Outside of that, they've been a top 5 team all season long. So I think UConn's the play there. Virginia, BC, I don't know, 9.5. At the pace Virginia plays at, like, that can be a lot. Maybe I would lean with Boston College in that game. It's probably a stay away, though, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on that, Ben, in that game?
Yeah, I'm probably staying off that one too. It's kind of like right at the edge where they have to win by double digits to cover. Like, yeah, they could. They're looking pretty good, but I'm staying away from that one. Kind of a tough spot. I mean, I know Boston College isn't great, but kind of a stay away from me. Same thing with Alabama, South Carolina. I would say just with the news and everything, I'm not even thinking about betting that game either way. Just because there's so many question marks. Those two, I'm probably just like not even going to touch.
Yeah, I like South Carolina. I don't know. Like, say Miller doesn't play, what does that line move to? South Carolina is bad. I will fully, admit that. Very bad basketball team. But I mean, 17.5 at home. Like, I know Bama's somewhat. Yeah, Bama does smoke some teams, so it'll be scary. But I think if you're laying a number like that big on the road, maybe South Carolina. Tonight's their night. All they have to do. How hard is it not to lose by 18 points? It can't be that hard. I think that maybe.
I hope not.
I mean, yeah, I've done it. Like, I've lost bad in some pickup games. I've never lost to 18, even if we only played at 21. I've been able to keep it somewhat close. So, yeah, that's a line. Yeah, 9.5. Just reading the comments. Some people like Virginia. Yeah, I don't know. It's it.
Well,
These games.
Buy a point and then bet Boston College. That could also be a move. What do you guys think?
Yeah, you could go BC.
10.5 plus
Yeah.
10.5.
Yeah, you could take BC.
So someone said their offense is garbage, and I don't know that it's necessarily garbage. I mean, it's actually slowed down quite a bit, so I agree with that. Like 57 points last game, 61 the game before that. Their offense is slowing down a little bit from where it was earlier in the season. But also the thing with Virginia is they play such a slow pace. They're last in the pace in the ACC. They're actually one of the slowest paces in the nation, 361st. Only 5 teams play a slower pace in the nation behind them, which means like they're not really built for these blowouts. I mean, I know they won by 13 against NC State, but they haven't won by double digits their last 3 games. And that includes a game against Louisville. We all know how Louisville's doing this season. They only won by 3 on the road. So, I mean, like, the opportunity to cover is definitely there for Boston College. It's just like, with that Virginia defense, I don't know.
Ben, hold your comment on this because I know this is one of your best bets, but Kentucky and Florida tonight, that was a game that people have asked about. It's obviously not listed in the top 25. Kentucky won the first time around in Lexington. Tonight, though, we look at it's in Gainesville. I believe Castleton's out, right, for Florida?
Castleton's out for the season.
Yeah.
He broke his hand against Mississippi, I want to say. And,
yes, he's out. All right, I would lean Kentucky there just because without Castleton, I mean, this team does not have a lot of offense at all. Pretty average guard play. I thought Lofton coming over from St. Bonnie's was going to be a big addition. He's been okay. Like, I just don't think they have the offensive firepower in the absence of Castleton to keep up. Kentucky's been playing a little bit better, and Florida's season's done, right, at this point. So Kentucky's playing. Yeah, pretty much. Kentucky's still playing for something. So if I'm going anywhere in this game, I'm going with the Cats. I know they just won. Some people don't like that, like taking a team twice. I don't know if there's stats to back this up. I don't think that's really a thing. When I feel like it's more of a mental thing. I used to do it all the time. Like, no way they beat them twice, and then they win by 30. So, I think there's definitely a good chance of them getting it done tonight.
Just some numbers real quick on that Kentucky-Florida game. It looks like 76% of the spread bets on Kentucky and 88% of the money line bets on Kentucky. And
now I hate them. All right, I'll back Florida. No, that's a lot. That's a lot.
We'll wait for Ben's pick when we get into our best bets.
That's on DraftKings, by the way.
Oh man, that's a lot. I mean, that's heavy. Well, Kentucky's kind of one of those teams. I feel like that everyone it's like Duke. You know what I mean? Like, you just always bet on them because of their name, kind of.
Yeah, they're just blue blood. They always draw action.
Yes. One other game before we go to our best bets, Iowa, Wisconsin. We had a comment about that one's a 1-point spread. It's at Wisconsin. Just a note on that, Wisconsin did win the first time at Iowa. So we talked about kind of that system of, are they going to win twice? I don't know about that. I would lean with the Hawkeyes in that game, though. Wisconsin, I don't know. They don't give me enough. Like, I know their record's okay. Iowa, I think, is a much better team. They have a lot of experience, so I don't think playing on the road is going to be too difficult for them. And the fact that we see Iowa as a road favorite, I like it. Although Sunday they were a road favorite against Northwestern, I liked Iowa and they lost by 50. So I don't know, maybe not, but I would probably lean with the Hawkeyes in this spot based off that line. I don't know if they get them twice this season. Wisconsin, again, just offensively, Wisconsin can get ice cold. Like, they'll go on 8-minute droughts cold. So if you do that against Iowa, it depends the pace of the game, right? Iowa wants to play it into the 80s. If Wisconsin, if we see this kind of as a rock fight, I think Wisconsin wins. But if Iowa can get offensive flow, I like them to win this game.
I agree with that. I'm gonna just go on top of that and say Greg Gard, he's excellent at controlling tempo. They're kind of like Virginia, super slow tempo, and that kind of dictates where the game's going to go for them. In the first meeting, it ended at 153 points. That's because it went to overtime, and they did end up winning in overtime. But in regulation, the score was 60-60 at the end of regulation. That is the game that Wisconsin needs to play if they're going to win again, and they're pretty good at controlling that tempo at home. So if they can make it a low-scoring game like that again, which I think they can, because that's the key to slowing down Iowa. If you're going to slow down Iowa, they're obviously not as great of a team defensively. They're an amazing offense. If you can frustrate them and make it a low-scoring game, you have a much better chance to win. And they were able to do that in the first game and eventually taking it to overtime. So I definitely like them to win. I don't know if I'd bet it. I'd almost think about the under again, just because of what Wisconsin was able to do in the first meeting.
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of their home games are super low scoring. Even their last game against Rutgers ended at 115. And they're actually coming off a heartbreaking because it was a 1-point loss against Rutgers. That was going to be a big win for them. And they ended up losing it. But a lot of their home games are super low scoring. They're just a really slow pace. They don't make a ton of shots, but they also limit the other team. So I kind of like the under.
We just got breaking news, too. There's a 5 o'clock basketball game that I did not know about, so now I'm more excited. I don't know if we can bet it. I think it's Bellarmine and Jacksonville. Is it Jacksonville State or Jacksonville? Someone commented it. I don't even know the name of the team. But that game we might have to bet just because it's on a 5, right? Kind of like a little appetizer for the night. I have no idea.
Bellarmine's going to win. Yeah, I love Bellarmine.
I think they're +5. All right, so then Ben just gave you a +5 dog at 5 o'clock. That's not bad. That'll play.
Gonna wet our beaks a little with that.
Oh, why not?
All right, guys, before we head into our best bets, we have a trivia question for everyone that is in our comment section.
Ooh, here we go.
We're actually giving away a free week of plays
my OC Premium.
Of my OC Premium plays, if you guys bet this correctly. The question is, what is the lowest seeded team to win the NCAA tournament? And we're looking for the year as well. So let's.
Cool. So we need both? Is it a both?
Me and Ben actually did a good job at picking the team. The year, not so much. So.
I'm just getting a charger. I'm not leaving the show. But my laptop.
Yeah, he's cheating. He's looking at the answer right now.
I just went to cheat.
All right, I don't know what these numbers. Oh, are you guys talking about the year? So
Yeah,
I want school name, I
the
want a year.
11.
Not the seed, just the year.
Oh, just the year.
Yes. So we're doing the school and the year that they won the championship.
Well, someone got the school. They just didn't get the year.
Well, someone got both. It was Ralph Leverwitz. He picked 1985 Villanova. So we're actually coming on the 30-year mark for that. They were an 8 seed. Villanova played Georgetown. That was the year Patrick Ewing was on there. I think there was 7 NBA players on that team, and they won. Georgetown was the #1 overall seed coming into the tournament. They had 5 future NBA players, including Ewing, and Villanova entered the tournament with a 19-10 record. So it was a very huge upset this year. Like I said, is the 30th year anniversary. Congratulations, Ralph.
Let's go, Ralph. Yeah, good job, man.
You can
Great.
DM OddsChecker to collect your winnings.
DM Matt, actually. DM DeadPresPicks.
Just kidding. DeadPres is taking complete control of this. You can DM Matt for that.
Now I'm just like, I'm infatuated. I think we just got 700 comments.
Did anyone else guess after Ralph? Like right after?
Oh, we have controversy. Someone's calling you out. They said that they got it before. I love this. Every day it happens. I don't know. I guess we'll have to go to video replay for that. Oh, someone called it rigged.
There's a guy on YouTube who says he got it first, but Zach, you did not get it first. I was looking at the YouTube comments, so
It was Ralph, correct?
you were just behind.
Oh, okay.
You said Ralph was first, but I'm watching YouTube as well.
I think the guy who sent Nova without the year, though, we should give like something to because that guy was like he got it like super fast. He might need like some love. I don't know. That was.
I'm not the commissioner on this trivia.
It's hard because you get like so many comments.
You'll give him a VIP then.
Huh?
You'll give him a 3 week of VIP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
you're a good guy, Dad. That's just what you do.
I'm just a good guy, I guess. I don't know. I had a good one. So that's Villanova. I guess it's technically my team because I live 15 minutes from Villanova. So I'll take this as a win. This was a fun trivia for me. Good job by Nigel for finding this. Mine was probably going to be too easy. So we dug a little deep. Yeah, but this was a good one.
This was a hard trivia question. So congrats to everyone that got it. Hit the nail on the head with Villanova.
Kind of crazy. The lowest seed's like an 8. Like as long as the tournament's gone on.
The same thing.
Like you would think once there would be a double digit.
Well, North Carolina almost did it last year. They were an 8 as well.
They were an 8. Yeah, they were an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would have been.
We almost had a St. Peter's last year too. I mean, they made it pretty fun.
Love the Peacocks.
Yeah, that's St. Peter's. How about has a double digit seed ever made the championship? Does anyone know? I don't know if that's like
George Mason. They made the Final Four. Did they make the final that year? I forgot.
Didn't St. Joe's make the Final Four too? Were they a double digit seed?
St. Joe's in the Final Four.
Junior Nelson, Delonte West. I don't know. It's hard. Oh, someone said I had the wrong pick on Jake Paul. How's this guy know who won already? So I took Tommy Fury, but this guy told me that Jake Paul basically won already. I don't know how he knows that.
Maybe he has the script.
He could have the script. If you have the script, I don't know.
The script.
He found the
You just
script.
did a wrong pick, by the way. I don't think the fight. I could be behind. I don't think the fight's happened yet. So I think we have to wait for that. Oh, no, this isn't nice. Everyone's being mean to the YouTube stream, saying that the YouTube doesn't count. They both count, right?
I'm on for the YouTube, and there's a guy on YouTube calling us a scam, which is
multiple people just said F YouTube.
All right, guys, we'll get better at the way we situate this. We'll tell you the platform to comment on. We'll give it some time.
Yeah, I mean, we need better rules. No, Loyola Chicago didn't make the finals. Butler made the finals as a double-digit seed. Was that the Gordon Hayward year when they lost to Duke?
Yeah, I think it was the first one, the Gordon Hayward one.
Okay. Well, we'll learn on the way.
All right, guys. Well, let's keep the show moving. Some people are really excited to go into Matt's ladder pick. But before we do that, I want to get Ben's top pick of the day. Ben, you are looking at a college basketball game. The Kentucky Wildcats are looking for their second consecutive road game and third straight overall when they take on the Florida Gators in an SEC showdown. What are you looking at on this game, Ben?
Yeah, so like the entire world is going to be on Kentucky. I already know that, but sometimes the entire world wins. Sometimes they just get a free public win. I think I'm not even going to question it. If this is a trap line, I'm eating the trap line. I don't care. You already said like 80% is on Kentucky. That might even be up by like 90% by game time. Yeah, everyone's going to be on them. I don't care. I think they're going to win. Colin Castleton, he's out. It's the second game that he's out. In the first game that he was out, they got blown out by 20 points against Arkansas last game. Arkansas shot 65% inside the perimeter, and that's pretty much where Kentucky's going to be scoring tonight. They have Oscar Tshiebwe. In the first meeting, when Kentucky won that game, Oscar Tshiebwe had his lowest points of the entire season. He shot 2 for 14, and he only had 4 points in that game. That was his worst offensive production of the season, and they still won. They still won by 5, and he's like their leading scorer. Colin Castleton on the other side, when they lost, he had 25 points, and he shot 9 for 15. and they still lost. And now they don't have him. That paint presence is gone. I just don't see the leading scorer behind him only scores 10 points a game. Colin Castleton was averaging 16. They just don't have the offensive production outside of Colin Castleton to keep up here. They couldn't keep up against Arkansas. It's going to be tough against Kentucky too, rebounding, because, I mean, Oscar Tshiebwe, he's one of the best rebounders in the nation. Kentucky is averaging the most offensive rebounds in the SEC right now. So it's going to be a really tough night on the boards as well for Florida. I just don't see that Oscar Tshiebwe, he's going to have more than 4 points tonight. And even when he couldn't score in the last game, they still won. It's just a bad matchup for Florida. It's a bad matchup. I know Kentucky's on the road. They're coming off a pretty big win against Tennessee. They're playing for something, like you said earlier. Florida's not really playing for much. Now their leading scorer went out. It's just not a good spot for them. I like Kentucky.
All right, we are taking Kentucky for this matchup. Matt, now, you have 2 picks for us. I know a lot of people are anticipating this. What have you got for us?
All right, so here we go. We got the ladder pick, day 5, so it's this little parlay. We're going to start this thing in Connecticut. We're going to look at that game I was talking about earlier, Providence versus UConn. I'm backing the Huskies tonight. We're going to start this thing with just taking them on the money line, so that's going to be leg 1. So boom, here it comes. All right, so UConn money line, that's going to start us off. Connecticut at home this season, 13-2. So they've been outstanding on their home floor. Like I mentioned earlier, Providence has been outstanding at home. They haven't lost a game all season at home. But where they have struggled is on the road. They're 5-5 away from home. So I think this is a really good spot for Connecticut to win this game tonight. A lot of people associate Connecticut with being a great offensive team. They've actually been a really good defensive team this season. I think they're going to force Providence to struggle offensively tonight, make things difficult, make them turn over the basketball. One of the best transition teams off of turnover. So Connecticut, again, they come into this game. They're almost 5 points better defensively than Providence. A lot of people would think that's flipped, kind of just because of the narrative the last few seasons, but not this year. Connecticut's been a really good defensive team. They have some big-time matchup advantages tonight. Same guys that usually eat when we bet on UConn. I think it's going to be a Sanogo, Hawkins kind of night. I do want to mention, lastly, betting on Connecticut on the ladder, we're 3-0. So when they've been involved in ladder picks, they've come through every time. I think they get it done once again tonight. And then lastly, this is going to take us home. Clemson -2. So Clemson has won just one game. They've won once in the entire month of February. I know it's short, but it's almost over, guys. So this is a team that desperately needs to win this game tonight. Clemson's right on the bubble at the moment. I mean, they were number 1 in the ACC, a couple weeks ago. And all of a sudden you look up and they desperately need to win this game. Syracuse, another team that has struggled a bit away from home. Clemson, meanwhile, they've been one of the best home teams in college basketball this season. So we're not asking much out of Clemson here. We're just asking them to win this game by 2. This is an alternate spread, so they are actually -5 for the people who are asking out there. And this is on DraftKings. You can get them at -2. I believe Barstool is -2 also. I know like FanDuel and some books have 2.5. So search for 2. Do not do 2. If you have to take 2.5, all right, do it. But if they win by 2, I can't help you. You know what I mean? Then we push, you guys lose. I feel bad. I don't know what to do. I'm happy, but I'm sad. A lot of emotions happen just because you guys bet 2.5. So try to get 2 on this game. I do think Clemson wins it, though. I do think they win it by a couple points. Again, they are actually a 5-point favorite, but desperately need this game tonight. Facing Syracuse, who's been very average all season long. I expect the Tigers, who are going to be healthy in this game, to win this one tonight. And again, I do like them on the actual spread if you're just betting the game, outside of but yeah, Clemson -2, UConn money line. That gets us to +103. And what day are we on? We're on day 5. So
Day 5.
So we're on. I was just going to jump in. I saw the comment. So if people want to hop in now, the bet is $165.74 to win $336.45.
Okay, so that's gonna play. Yeah, I'm getting nervous. I'm already getting a little nervous, guys. That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's the beauty of the ladder, though. Fires you up. And one last thing, Melissa's got an NHL lock for us tonight. One last thing that's cool about this bet too. Both the games are early, right? So we get a 6:30, and then we get a 7. We're gonna know early in the night if the ladder continues. But this is it. If we get on, once you get past day 5, guys, then it gets a little scary, it gets real. But yeah, they're going to people are taking pictures of us again. That's cool. I love when they take pictures.
I love how you say they're taking pictures of us and not your ladder pick.
No, I always thought it was of us, and then I picked they just wanted my pick. But all right, yeah, so that's the ladder pick, guys. We'll obviously make a little short clip for this. If you guys can't watch it live. But to everyone watching it, here it is. Lock it in now. Plus 103. Let's do it. What do you got, Melissa? You got a hockey pick for us, right?
I do, but before I do, I have a bonus pick. I'm actually going to dip my toes into some college basketball tonight. Maryland is taking on Minnesota. Now, Maryland has won 2 of their last 3 games, but they did just lose to Nebraska. Bounce back spot for them. They have been the better team and should win this game. Minnesota has been pretty good against the number in recent road games, though. But Minnesota is like one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. They are on the road for this. I like Maryland to win big. They defeated Minnesota in Minnesota at 81-46 in their first meeting, and I'm expecting a similar result here. The spread right now is minus 15.5. The alt spread is minus 12.5, which is what I am going to play on. And they're looking to get that double bye as a top 4 seed. They're fighting. Every win counts. So that's my bonus pick of the day. But
yeah, I love it.
What do you guys think about that? You're my
I'm a Minnesota fan.
Oh no, Ben. Oh no. What do you think?
As a Minnesota fan, I have to. So I am a little offended, but let me just say I think I bet on them 1 game this entire season, and they actually covered, which was nice. But I hate betting for or against them because they are abysmal. But sometimes they just randomly will show up and cover. I think they just covered their last game, actually. They came back from the grave. Sometimes they'll just randomly go off on random spurts of offense, but they'll still lose the game. It's just they'll cover. So, like you said, they're pretty good against the number, but they're just horrible as a team.
What happened in Minnesota, though? 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they were pretty good. They just had a quick...
They're decent. They've never really been, amazing, but...
yeah,
they're decent. I guess.
I kind of feel bad for you, being in Minnesota. What are they good at? What is Minnesota good at?
Losing to the Giants.
When did this become just all of a sudden Minnesota?
No. I'm just saying, what's cool about Minnesota? The Vikings suck, the Twins okay, the T-Wolves suck. This year they're okay, but traditionally they suck.
How'd the Super Bowl go?
Well, but that's the thing.
How did the Super Bowl, Matt? I'm on Ben's side on this one.
Okay, well, hold on.
College hockey. They're good at college hockey, Minnesota.
But does that count? Do they have any professional sport? Or the Wild? Well, the Wild are decent, but how many?
We were banging the Wild earlier this season.
Okay, the Wild are decent, but again, they've never won. Granted, they're still a somewhat new team, but
how many championships does Minnesota have combined?
If we're counting the Minnesota Lynx,
no, we're not. They don't
score. It's annoying because Philly's won a few in the last couple of years. Relax.
All right. So between the big 4, so we're just going, NFL, NHL, NBA, MLB. How many championships is Minnesota?
Two. They have 2 World Series. The Twins have a World Series win in 87 and 91, and that is it. Nothing besides that. The NHL has not won. The Vikings have not won.
It's cold there too.
Hey Matt, can we do Boston now? Are we doing championship?
Can
we do Boston?
We're not doing this game, guys.
Boston fans win 2 a year. Yeah, I don't think Ben. I feel bad for you because my teams lose a lot too. So I'm just taking my anger out on you. But it's also I would just never find myself in Minnesota. You know what I mean? Although I am going to Minnesota, I think next year for the Big Ten championship. So I'm excited about that. That'll be fun. Maybe I'll come see it. But yeah, Minnesota as a place is not a lot, and I like it. You guys got the whole skull thing. That's cool. That might be the
the crowd's hype. The crowd's good.
The coolest thing in Minnesota is the skull. I've confirmed it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But tough place to be a sports fan.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. We have the Minnesota Lynx though, and they're pretty good. So,
do you go to a lot of Minnesota Lynx games, Ben?
No comment.
All right, guys. Well, let me just get into my hockey pick before we wrap up the show with our same game parlay. I am looking at the Blackhawks game. They are taking on the Dallas Stars. Now, both teams are on opposite ends of the standing this season. The Blackhawks are in last place in the Central Division, and the Stars are in first place. And they're hoping to bounce back. They're actually on a 4-game losing streak. So I see the Stars covering this. They are going to have a dominant performance on the ice. The offense has always let the Blackhawks down, and the defense is also struggling for them. While the Stars have been great on offense, but their defense has really carried this team. So we got two opposite ends of the spectrum. There's no reason not to bet the Stars at -1.5. They're having a great season. I see them snapping their losing streak, controlling this game right from when we drop the pucks. They should limit the Blackhawks offense. The defense unit should create turnovers. I think that we will allow goaltender Jake, who Ben actually has a fun story about, and he's going to make plenty of saves tonight. The Stars should win this game and cover the spread in a dominant win. They are at home. I'm feeling this tonight to break their 4-game losing streak.
I like it. I like it.
The Blackhawks are on a back-to-back, by the way, and
Yes.
they went to a
They won
shootout.
Shootout, yes.
They went to a shootout, so I mean, like some tired legs potentially. I mean, that's always an angle, especially off an OT and shootout like win. That's a pretty high emotional win for them because they were big underdogs too. So like emotional win for them, overtime. I like it. I like the angle on the Stars.
They're tired and they're traveling. Like, works out.
Yes, I think it does. I think it's a good spot for the Stars.
All right, guys. Now that we have our picks together, let's parlay these up. We got a -145, a +103, and a -110. Ben, I'll start with you. If we were to parlay these odds, what are you looking at?
Man, I always get the short end of the stick. I have to go first. I went way too high last time. I think I said like +1,000. I'm gonna go plus. There is a +103 in there, but there's a -140. I'll say +713.
Well, I just tweeted out +750, so that's my guess.
Okay,
Plus
I'm going to do
+750.
+675.
Yeah, that's wrong.
All right, let's see. I win!
Ooh.
Guys. Oh, man. +554 is our parlay. Not our highest of parlays, but still pretty decent.
All right, so my tweet. I have to fix my tweet. +554, not plus.
You could say that was your guess.
Not +750. I think it's gonna win. I mean, all we need here is Kentucky to win, Clemson to UConn, and then the Stars. So I mean, we're not actually asking a whole lot here. Yeah, I think we get it done somewhat easily, and then we cash that in. That's not a bad parlay to hit on a Wednesday. Like we said, the weekend's coming. Got a lot to get into. So yeah,
We'll
good
use
time.
that for your day 6 ladder pick.
Yeah, that'd be something, right? We're gonna skip the whole ladder and just use that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Straight home.
I will say Dookie Howser said based on Ben's Indiana pick, I'm loving Florida even more. And you know what I'll say? I'll say the law of averages says that I should probably win on Kentucky today because I lost Indiana yesterday. You know?
Yeah.
Well, it's true.
It's the law of averages. I had a horrible day. I went 2-7, which means today will probably be a little bit better.
7-2.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but probably better.
Yes.
The only way to go is up from here.
Yes.
Well, we like that spot on this show on the morning. So
that's the energy we need. And so just real quick before, it is day 5 of the ladder. It says it there, but someone asked what day it was. I'll tweet out the amount one more time, so to make sure. I'll tweet my ticket so you guys are following right with.
So stay locked into Twitter, guys, to follow Matt on his ladder journey. And
yes.
Other than that,
we're so close.
Other than that, guys, I will see you again next Friday. Matt, we'll see you guys tomorrow on the Morning Edge. Thank you, Ben, for joining the show, and we will see you guys next time. Happy betting.